Okay, so if you guys hadn't seen, Joe X did a teaser for my knife destructive testing. And I want to see it. I want to hear what he has to say. And I really do want to see it. So that's that. All right, so one thing I want you guys to keep in mind. With a longer knife, you can get more leverage. So when you're applying more leverage on certain portions of the knife, the longer the knife is. Also, the longer the knife is and how it's weighted, you can generate more force, which hits things harder. You can't generate that same force with a short knife on something like the brick. So it's going to be meeting that brick with more force applied. So also, if I wanted to make a knife that was going to be more tailored to pass one of his tests, I would make a shorter knife, or I would make one the same size as this with no fullers, and I would make it twice as thick. And I would change the tip geometry, and I would make it tailored to pass a test and not break in a stump and do all that stuff. But that's not what I was doing when I designed this knife. I wanted it to be well balanced, and I wanted it to feel lighter than it actually was. I wanted it to be not fatiguing when you were using it, and not unwieldy to where it's out of control and all of that. I wanted it to be, nice to use when you're doing things like chopping and, using it to do knife stuff. So, the tests, they are, it is what it is. I'm still curious to see what happens, and I think that there's good information to be learned from these tests. But you have to look at information the right way. So, I guess I'm not the arbiter of truth, and I get to decide how to look at things. But if I wanted to design a knife that would be better for a Joe X test, then I could have done that. But that is not what this knife has been used for. If you've seen any of the reviews, then you have an idea why this knife is the way it is. So, just look at the tests for what they are. I appreciate the work he's put into it, and I really want to see the video. And I think everybody should go see the video, especially if you've bought one of these knives. And compare apples to apples. You can't compare a 16-inch knife to a 10-inch knife, and you can't compare a knife that weighs 5 pounds to a knife that weighs under 2 pounds. So, or what is it? I think this is like 1.89 pounds or 1. I have to look it up. I think it's in one of my videos in the reviews. But just go check the video out. See what you think. And if you guys are wondering, these scales came from Lucas Carroll. Also, there are about 11 more of these left at Knife Center. But the teaser's up, so I expect the full review to be up soon. Joe X says this is his masterpiece, so we'll see how badly this thing's getting beaten up. I did see a clip where there's this much of the knife, it looks like, that's left, about like that, right before it gets shot. So I don't know if that was a second shot, or if it broke in the brick or the iron rod. I don't know. We'll find out. So just to let you guys know, I do understand that 90-degree angles are weak spots and stress risers, stress places for stress fractures to happen in a knife. I did not want 90-degree fuller, and I tried not to put any 90-degree angles on the knife. So, in the next production, we're looking at doing a line with no choil, no fuller, and maybe a different fuller, like a double smaller fuller, just like the Collins Legitimus number 18 knives. So, I understand that there are certain things that, make a knife more prone to break. This fuller does kind of have like a little ramp down on the inside, so it's not like a perfect deep 90-degree fuller with a sharp edge. It is kind of rounded. I don't know if you can see that. You probably actually have to have the knife to see that. But this fuller does have a purpose. It is done for weight, and I was trying to achieve a good balance on this knife. So that way while you're using it, it feels light, or doing light chopping, and you can really choke down on it and pack, a while when you're really trying to chop. So, there's reviews out there, people have had them and are using them, and have to see what everybody says. But, then again, guys, I encourage everybody to go watch the video. But, just don't get crazy about it. Joe X is great. I can't wait to see the video. I'm very excited. It's pretty cool to have your knife in the hands of somebody like Joe X, because, it's probably a good sign that your knife ends up in the hands of Joe X. I mean, if nobody has heard about your knife or your company, then it's not even going to end up on there. So I guess that's a good thing in itself, that the knife ended up getting destroyed at all. And these are not made in China. They're made in Taiwan at Work Tough Gear. And he has a very professional, nicely family run shop, and the machining and everything in the work is done, to a high standard. So, one thing I've also heard, this is a Bowler K329 steel. This is like a high chromium carbon steel, so it's more rust resistant, and I think it's supposed to have finer grains, but it's not a stainless steel. So you're gonna have a little bit less strength and less like bending that way, like you would with like a spring steel, tool steel, but it's gonna have more edge retention. It's gonna be harder, and probably more resistant to staining, stuff like that. But that's all I got. You guys have a good one, and have a good Labor Day tomorrow.